Hi, I'm Trisha Monroe with Yoga Wellness Money. Thanks for being here, and today we are going to talk about budgets. And I'll tell you, quite frankly, I was never a huge fan of budgets. I thought, I live pretty frugal. I pay attention to what I'm spending my money on, and I pay my credit card off every single month. So I didn't really think a budget was really applicable. However, after the 2008, 2009 credit crisis, and we went into that huge meltdown of a recession, and believe me, it was as bad in California as it was probably everywhere else, I was panicked. I had been laid off of my job. My company had gone out of business. I was the associate general counsel, making great money, and all of a sudden, I am on the street. And the CEO of that company met me for lunch, and he said, Trisha, you should go to Paris. You should go to Paris for like a month, and you might not ever come back because you're going to love it so much. And I don't know why, because that really wasn't like me. I'm usually like work before play, find a job before you go on vacation. But in this one instance, I thought, you know what? I have an emergency fund. Actually, I didn't even call it an emergency fund. I just called it my savings account. I have a savings account. I just got a big tax return, and I'm going to go to Paris. So I found a ticket for $479 in 7 days, and leaving in 7 days, I guess I should say, for $479. It was awesome. I went over there, I found a cheap little hotel, I just explored the city up and down all by myself, and I had the best time. So when I came back, I was really refreshed and renewed. And, for those of you that may have been affected by the pandemic, maybe you're in a similar situation where you lost your job, but sometimes you just take a little step back, breathing room, and then you just come in with renewed focus. And that's what I did. I got laser focused, and that was a term used by a mentor of mine. He said, you need to be laser focused on finding a job right now, because it was a very, very difficult market. And yet I was single, and it was my responsibility to be self-sufficient. So I started going at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at this little pop-up employment center, and I just applied online and made calls to friends and calls to colleagues and really just talked to everybody I possibly could. And it paid off, because an attorney that knew I was looking turned down a position that I ended up getting. It was only temporary. It was 6 months. But it was in the tech industry, which is, my bread and butter. And I loved it. And I was there for 6 months, and I had a great salary there too. But when it came down to the last final 2 weeks, and I was maybe going to get offered a permanent position, I did get a permanent position with a local government. And I thought, I don't know, this place is laying people off, and now I have a chance to go in with the government, and it'll be permanent. And even though this pay is half of what I was making, it'll be permanent. And half salary is better than unemployment salary. So I took the job. And it was around 2010, and I was listening to the radio, and I heard a guy named Dave Ramsey who talked about budgeting, and I was intrigued with what he was saying, and so I would listen more and more, and eventually I thought, I do have a much lower salary than I'm accustomed to. It wouldn't hurt to do a budget. And one thing I was still not accustomed to was getting my credit card bill. I mean, every time, I don't think I'm spending that much money, but I get my bill and I'm like, what? Eyes popping out and kicking myself and scanning the bill like, how is this, up to $600 or $800? What's happened? What did I do? And I just was tired of that. And he pointed out that when you use credit cards, you spend 27% more. 27% more. That's not a little amount of money, because we're kind of unconscious about it. It's one thing to be counting out your change to make sure you have enough to, get the 4-piece nugget and a small fry at McDonald's. It's a completely different thing when you're just swiping and you can throw on the 3 chocolate chip cookies for 99 cents and not even think about it. So I was like, that resonated with me. I thought, if this is a habit that is unconsciously causing me to spend more money than I would, then I need to knock that off. And so at the same time I started doing a budget, I stopped using credit cards for everything except for gas and online purchases, because I do think as a woman, we do not have the luxury of not having a credit score. I'm sorry. That is just not a thing for women, that they can go in and be like, look at my great rental history and I have 3 references, and big bank, will you give me money? No way. It's not happening. Ladies, you need a credit score. And so I just used my credit card for gas. I had it budgeted out. I knew about how much I spent every week in gas, and so I'd have that budgeted out, and that credit card only had gas on it. And I had a second credit card that I used only for online purchases. And with that, I started using cash. So unless my bill was being paid online, it got paid in cash. So I took out money every week for groceries and personal spending. So whether that was, getting a pedicure or my haircut or Target runs, eating out with friends at lunchtime, things like that, I used cash for. And I never bust out the ATM. So my account had some really set things. Even utilities, I opened a second account and I would just put utility money over there every month. So I knew my utilities ran about, I can tell you because I have it here, $400 a month, but that included my HOA at the townhouse I had purchased. So back in 2012, I came up with the Clipboard. Clipboard Budgeting Method. Since I'm mostly head here, I'm going to show you. And it's so easy. Basically, August 2012, my wages. This is after a big raise too. Wages, mortgage, tithing, utilities, gas, cleaning lady, groceries, toll expenses, paying extra to my house principal, supplements I was way into at the time, acupuncture, setting aside money for my car insurance that comes up every 6 months, so it's not a surprise. And then I still had money left over, so I designate some to savings, to my beauty budget, to blow, and Banana Republic. So basically, and anything that was out of budget, I put down in this corner. So I knew that had to be reconciled the following month. So either I had less money to spend the following month, or I would take it out of my savings account if it was justified to come out of my savings account. And I've done this every single month since 2010, September-ish 2010. And I got married 6 years ago, and my husband and I do it. And it's gotten a lot more complicated since I was by myself. So I have a column for regular income. I have a column for irregular income. Let me show you. Regular income, irregular income, all of our expenses, our rental property and all of its expenses, child support, business expenses. We have since, carved out and incorporated as companies, so we don't have random commissions coming into our personal account. It runs through the business first, and then we pay him a salary. But there is a way to budget, no matter if you have income you can predict or income you can't predict. So income you can't predict, you don't necessarily know exactly what you're gonna have at the beginning of the month to budget down to zero, but you should have your expenses listed by priority. So when your check comes in, my rent gets paid first, my utilities get paid next, the gas for my car gets paid, if you have a car payment, that gets paid. And then you are equipped and prepared for the month ahead. And you've always decided, so there's no surprises. And if I do make a big purchase and it's on a credit card, I don't touch that purchase. I don't open it. I don't use it. I don't wear it. I don't walk outside with the shoes. I don't take the tags off until either the credit card bill has come and I've paid it off out of my checking account, or I'll go on beep-boop-bop, chase.com and pay off that exact amount so I know that my item is paid for. Because it's really interesting what we want when it was on credit and then what we want when we have to pay the piper. So make sure you have the discipline to not use or buy anything until you can pay for it. And if you do cheat and get it on a credit card, then you gotta like hang on to it with the receipt until you know that you're gonna pay it off and not have buyer's remorse. So this is the clipboard budgeting method. Honestly, take a piece of paper, throw it on a clipboard, write your income, write all of your expenses before the month starts. And if you are carrying credit card, if you tend to pay off your credit card every month, you got to go at the end of the month, get that thing zeroed out so you have a true idea of what your expenses are. And it's going to take at least 3 months. And I recommend doing it for a minimum of 6 because I promise you'll get addicted. And then you are prepared for anything that comes your way. You know you can go straight to the clipboard and be like, okay, where can I cut? What can I do different? How can I bring in more income? It is a wealth builder, quite frankly. And my husband even says that he's so grateful that we budget every month because he never has to wonder how much money we have, where it's going, what's happening. He can pick up the clipboard. Sometimes we sit down and do it together. Sometimes I do it. I punch it out really quick and just say, hey babe, do you have anything you need in the coming month? And he'll be like, yeah, I need some more cargo shorts. So he's pretty low maintenance. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I really recommend right this very second, grab a piece of paper, write down your net take-home pay. Do you know most people can't even tell you what their net take-home pay is? I don't know if I can tell you what mine is right this very second either, but it's on my clipboard. And so write down your income, write down all your fixed expenses, all your variable expenses, and really start making a plan and making sure that your spending is in your control and that you're the boss of your money. Money's not the boss of you, you're the boss. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I appreciate your time, and I know there's a lot of places you can be. I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button and let me know in the comments what other topics you'd like to hear about. All right, thanks, and I'll see you later.